Am I the a-hole for telling my mother she must have had no self-respect to marry my father? Some context. My 16F high school organizes an annual fall dance. Not last year, due to obvious reasons, but it's happening again this year with COVID-19 precautions, and the weather has been unseasonably warm this season, thanks global warming, so a significant portion of the dance will be held outdoors. Anyway, the boys are supposed to invite the girls, and yesterday during lunch a boy asked me, and I agreed to go with him. My father has always been the traditional type when it comes to me and my younger sister, 14F. So, last night during dinner, I mentioned that I had a date for the dance, and he joked about answering the door with his shotgun. The thing is, I'm fairly certain he would actually do it. I informed him that if he was going to act that way, I would just meet up with my friend group at school. He then got very serious and, in an angry tone, said he didn't want me sneaking around with some guy without his knowledge. He asked me what I even knew about this boy. Then, he accused me of potentially becoming one of those slutty girls who give it all away to the first guy they meet and whom no self-respecting man would ever want to marry. That's when I lost it. I like to think I'm a pretty good kid. I get good grades, I play volleyball, I assist my sister with her homework, and I drive her to her soccer practice. I've never had a boyfriend. So being talked to as if I were some love-struck idiot who was going to end up pregnant just because I'm choosing to attend a dance with a friend really irritated me. Also, I know a bit about my father's past. He was in a fraternity in college, and he has shared stories with my cousin, 18M, who recently started college at a large state school where fraternity culture is prominent. So, I told him that, A, this boy is my friend, and he seems nice, but if he turns out to be a jerk, I'll figure it out. B, I only agreed to go to a dance. The last time I checked, attending a dance was not a binding sexual contract, and here's where I may have overstepped. I informed him that I was aware he was part of a frat in college, and I know what happens in those environments. I also know the tales he's shared with my cousin, so in the heat of the moment, I remarked something like, by your own reasoning, the only slut in the family is you. Then I turned to my mother and said, you must have had no self-respect to have married him. Judging by their expressions, I could tell my words were hurtful, and naturally, I got yelled at, and probably won't be able to attend the dance at all. But I feel it's unfair for him to lecture me about slutty behavior and self-worth when he's recently been boasting to my male cousin about doing much worse things when he was just a few years older than me. But maybe I crossed the line trying to make my point. Update. Oh God. Oh fuck. Oh God. Oh fuck. I did it. I came out, and I did it out of spite. I picked a whole goddamn bouquet of whoopsie daisies. To clarify, I know I mentioned in the comments that I wasn't sure if I was into guys, but that's partly because I thought I should explore with men out of obligation before determining my sexuality. But the more my dad talked about the whole pregnancy thing last night, and the more I reflected on it, I realized that it's just so far removed from my realm of interest. And I've had crushes on girls, although it's been hard to admit to myself. It's not super duper okay in my family. So I took the comments, suggesting I need to apologize to my mom to heart, and I recognized y'all were right. She didn't deserve that. I made her an omelet and a coffee and brought it to her in bed and sat down with her on the bed so we could discuss what happened. My dad was out of the house. I just explained to her that what I said last night was due to anger and that I was hurt by all these terrible accusations being thrown at me when I feel like I've given no reason to doubt my judgment. I apologized to her and told her how inappropriate it was for me to attack her when she wasn't the one I was angry at, and that I feel my dad doesn't see me as a valuable person because he thinks I'm not intelligent enough to take my own decisions seriously, and that if I made a mistake, I wouldn't be worth anything to him or anyone. I cried because it was painful. She understood and began to talk, but then my dad walked in. Keep in mind, I was still furious at him. And he walked into the whole scene and said something nasty. He saw I was crying and said, "Oh, hormones, looks like someone's pregnant already." The expression on his face indicated it was a joke, but I hated it. My mind went into mean girl overdrive. Granted, what I did was not clever, but I was done. So I said, "Good news, I don't think me having sex with men and getting pregnant is something you'll ever have to worry about." He looked at me. I stared back at him. He looked at me. I stared back at him. It clicked. Now he's out for a drive, and the whole house has been quiet. I'm kind of hiding in my room. Oops. Update. A lot of people have been messaging me asking for an update, and first of all, I just want to thank you all for the outpouring of support. I think we can all agree that the internet can bring out the best and worst in people. In this case, wow. Nothing but the best. No hateful DMs whatsoever or strange stuff. Just genuine people sending love. This could not be more appreciated, trust me. So the first thing I'd like to say is that many people were worried about my safety, but rest assured, I am 100% fine. Apologies for not updating sooner, but as you can imagine, things got chaotic, and with multiple things happening simultaneously, metaphorically, I'm gay LOL, I felt the dust hadn't settled enough to post an update, but we're here now. I want to begin by saying that my relationship with my family, especially my dad, is continually improving. Let's rewind to the return from the trip to Taco Bell. So where we left off, my sister and I went to Taco Bell and hung out in the parking lot for a while. She told me that eventually we would have to go home, and I realized she was right. So I drove us home. Not going to lie, I was trembling. I didn't know quite what I would be walking into. When I got home, the house was oddly quiet. I think my mom was in my parents' room, and my dad was out on the back porch with a beer. Not catatonic exactly, but alarmingly still. I'd gotten him some Taco Bell before my sister and I left. It always used to be our thing. A crunch wrap, or what I call the meat frisbee. I went out on the porch and sat down, asked if we could talk. He said yes, but it was minutes of awkward silence. Eventually, he told me he was surprised. I asked why, and he said, "Well, you just don't look gay." This wasn't surprising. Without revealing details about my appearance or my location, I'm from the suburbs and look like it. To my dad, he has a very specific idea of what a gay girl looks like, so it just didn't quite compute for him at the time. I kind of said, "Well, I don't know what to tell you there." There was quite a bit more silence and tension, and being me, I decided to break the ice by saying something cheeky. I asked him if he had any tips for me from his frat days. When he asked what I meant, I said something along the lines of, "Oh, you know, for scoring points with the ladies." This was where the mood shifted. He lost it laughing, and I did too. I knew then everything was going to be absolutely fine between us. My parents both have a lot to learn about this stuff. While my folks strive to be open-minded, they possess a lot of confusion surrounding LGBTQ+ issues. For instance, they're not completely there on grasping pronouns. I'm endeavoring to educate them. However, they're becoming more supportive of having a gay daughter, and honestly, I'm new to this as well and still figuring out what being gay entails. For those curious, I attended the dance, and it was, well, a typical high school dance. Fun, but not life-altering. I've been gradually coming out to my friends, and their reactions have been amusing. Essentially, the predominant response is, "Yeah, this isn't news." Apparently, I was the last to realize it. Again, thank you internet strangers for all the support. Much love to all of you. Update. Some of you may recall me. I posted on Am I the A-hole a while back concerning a peculiar coming out story. You can check my profile for details. Anyway, my dad, as many of you have noted, is definitely a character. He's been quite understanding regarding my coming out, but let's just say we have a lot to learn. Anyway, this story centers around my mom, not me. So as I might have mentioned, my mom is a shy individual, and she's also been a stay-at-home mom all my life. And let me tell you, I get so irritated by the criticism SAHM's stay-at-home moms receive. It is work. I know because I'm somewhat of a jerk and my mom was always there for us growing up. Now that I'm older and can assist with driving my younger sister, it helps, but she still takes care of cooking, cleaning, organizing our extracurricular activities, everything. Anyway, my dad has always made it a point to highlight that my mom doesn't contribute financially, and I just don't think he realizes what he has. Now that I have come out and things have settled, I thought, in for a penny, in for a pound. I've learned the importance of standing up to him and believe he oddly respects it. So, on to what happened. He made a comment the other night because my younger sister recently experienced a growth spurt and clearly needs new clothing, so she wanted to take her on a shopping trip. He decided to say something like, "I'm sorry, with whose money?" And that annoyed me. Since it's my break from school, I decided to get creatively weird because I don't have much going on. I chose to create a PowerPoint presentation earlier tonight in lime green Comic Sans font and transitions, illustrating what mom does and how absurd it is to suggest she doesn't contribute financially to their relationship. I prefaced this by saying something along the lines of, "This is what you'd have to do, who you would have to hire to maintain your quality of life if, God forbid, mom was gone tomorrow." The text of the slides is as follows. Feel free to correct my numbers in the comments. Title: So, you think mom doesn't financially contribute to this relationship? Slide 1. The first thing you'd need, especially 5 years ago, is a 24/7 live-in nanny. According to Google, the average salary is $35,000 per year, shockingly low, but considering this, nanny would have no vacation time or guaranteed night hours off work. Let's add another $15,000. Slide 2. Mom doesn't just take care of us. She prepares all our meals. The average salary of a personal chef per year, according to Google, is nearly $49,000. Again, factor in 3 meals a day with no vacation time, no weekends. So add another $15,000 at least. Slide 3. Babysitters and chefs don't provide cleaning services, so you would need a part-time housekeeper, 7 days per week. Let's assume 4 hours a day. Assuming they were paid well, $15 per hour times 4 hours times 7 days times 52 weeks equals $21,140. Slide 4. Mom deals with all our appointments, extracurricular activities, and organizing stuff, so you'd at least need a part-time personal assistant. Let's just say around the same hourly rate and schedule as a housekeeper, $21,140. Slide 5. Mom also helped with our homework, which not all babysitters would do, so you might need a tutor for 5 nights every week, Sunday, Thursday, likely for 3 hours. The average pay for a part-time tutor in the US is $33,000 per year. Slide 6. Speaking of, let's do some of that math mom taught me. 35 plus 15 plus 49. 15 plus 2, 21,840 plus 33 for 190,680. Slide 7. Happy New Year, Dad. dad. So naturally, the argument happened. He said I had no right to interfere in financial matters, which is fair, but I contended that he involved me the moment he kept holding it over mom. He said he works his ass off for us, which he does, but I responded that he wouldn't be able to devote that much energy to work if mom didn't literally manage everything else in his life, and that he should appreciate what she does because they both contribute to the household in distinct ways, and that she enhances his quality of life with everything she does. I'm prepared to admit that I went a bit far here, but my mom does so much, and my dad couldn't manage without her, and she's just so quiet and just takes it, and she's been incredibly supportive of my coming out process, and she deserves someone to stand up for her, and she deserves to go shopping, and when she does, she deserves to buy something for herself. She's essentially giving him $190,000 per year.